Hi there. I don't know about you, but every summer when it starts to get warm outside, the first thing I want to do is pull my hair back. I have really thick, heavy hair, and it is suffocatingly hot when I wear it down, especially in the middle of the day. So I was really thrilled when I found those creaseless hairbands because it meant that I could do my hair in the morning, have it look nice in the morning, pull it up in the afternoon when it started to get really hot, and then I could still pull my hair down in the evening and have my style still somewhat intact compared to using a rubber band or something that is really tight on my hair and would leave a big mark from the ponytail. So today I'm going to show you how to make your own creaseless hairbands. They are ridiculously easy to make. So what we're going to start out with is a piece of fold over elastic. Now this happens to be 3/8 inch width that I have here. This does come in multiple widths from 1/8 inch. I have seen it at 5/8 inch. I think 5/8 tends to be a typical width with it, but this is just a bit thinner that I have here. Now the length that I prefer to make my ponytail holders at is about 9 inches. So I'll measure this elastic out to 9 inches. And it doesn't have to be right on the 9 inches. You can be just a little bit off. So I want to finish mine off. I do not want this to fray at all. So I'm going to just use a standard lighter. I'm going to light that. And I'm not actually going to put this in the flame. I'm going to put it right next to the flame. And you'll see the edges kind of melt. That just seals them off, and it'll keep the ends of the hairband from fraying with it. So just melt those off. Then we're just going to take this elastic, fold it in half, and tie a little knot here on the end. And I try to keep it somewhat close to the end so we have as much length as possible in the hairband. And that's it. There's the hair tie. Easy and simple, and this will wrap around even my thick hair at least twice. As it stretches a little bit, it does enlarge. I've not really had too much issue with these. I've had some that I have used for months on end, and it just eventually gets to a point where I can do it 3 times around my hair. But I like that these do not leave, because they're not so tight, they don't leave huge marks in my hair. So let's do one more. So we're going to take the elastic, this one's an aqua, measure it out to about 9 inches, cut it off, then we're going to seal the ends. Okay, double it over and tie it off. It is that simple. Now, if you find these listed online, this type of elastic listed online, it seems like it typically is sold in about 5-yard units. So while we're talking about the elastic, let's also talk about headbands for kids. So many babies are wearing headbands anymore, and it's super easy to do headbands that actually match their outfits. And they're fun to have on. So we're going to start with a piece of elastic that we're going to cut at 12 inches. Okay, so we're going to cut this at 12 inches. I am going to take another piece of elastic here, and I'm going to cut it off, and it's just a small piece, and it'll get trimmed down a little bit further, so I don't have a measurement on that. But we're going to take our lighter and we're going to seal off the ends. So now that those ends are sealed off, we're going to use a hot glue gun to put this together. So what you're going to do is find your right side or your shiny side of the elastic. Make sure your elastic is straight, and you're going to put just a little tiny dab of glue right there on top of that shiny elastic. Make sure your elastic's straight again, and then bring your other end around and just put that right on top of that glue spot. So that'll adhere together and you have your headband. Now, this piece, this little piece, we're going to seal off the end of one. I like to do this when I do especially baby headbands because I like to make sure that there's no hot glue that's possibly touching the baby's head and irritating or scratching the baby's head. So I'm going to take on the right side again, the shiny side, just a little dab of glue. And I'm going to put that sealed edge right down on top of that glue. So then I'm going to take this little piece and I am going to wrap it around the headband. And I'm just going to trim off just a little bit so I make sure that it is the right length. This is why I don't have an exact measurement on it, because sometimes your elastic could be a little bit wider or heavier, like thicker. So I didn't want to do an exact measurement on that. You just want to kind of guesstimate and then you can wrap it around. So I'm going to pull that piece off again and I'm going to seal off that edge. Again, that just keeps it from fraying or anything like that. So then we're going to wrap that back around. We're going to put another little dab of glue, and all the dabs of glue are going on the top or on the outside part of the headband. Let's do this little dab of glue right there. And then we're going to push that into place. So that just does a little wrap around that headband. And then, like I said, that just keeps it so that if any glue seeped out the edge of this where we had layered the two pieces together, that it's not going to irritate baby's head at all. So now we want to add a flower to this. So I have this beautiful coral flower here, and this is a pre-made flower. It's not something I have created. So we're going to add this flower onto the headband. Now you can just put a little hot glue on here and just glue it right onto the headband, or if you really want to finish off the whole thing, instead of doing that little wrap that we did, what you can do is you can take a felt pad, and this is one I've just cut out myself, which is why it's a little wonky. I do know that they sell these pre-made, but you can take that felt pad and you can glue that over the top of it, and then that just finishes off that edge. So I am going to just glue this headband right onto the flower. So we're just going to add a dab of hot glue and glue that right down. Okay, so now your headband is adhered to your flower and you have a pretty aqua headband with a big coral flower on it. So let's do another one. Have some white fold over elastic this time, so 12. Seal off the ends here. Again, shiny side up, and put that little dab of glue. So, and then the elastic is straight, so this headband is straight on there. You want to make sure you don't have any twists in your elastic when you glue it down, because that will show in your final product. So we've got the little piece. We're going to seal that off. Add a dab of glue. push that down on there and wrap that around. Again, we're going to trim off the excess here. And then seal that end. Get that all wrapped around and glued down. And then I have this pretty little flower. It's got a little bit of a floral spray print on there. So we're going to add a dab of glue. And glue that flower down. So this flower has kind of an opening in the center. You can see that this flower is finished out and it's poofy all the way through. This one actually has a little bit of an opening in a center to add something just a little bit extra. So I want to add a little bit of something sparkly. And I have this little button here that I'm going to add to the center of this flower. Now this particular button, the shank is not very high on it, so I really don't need to cut it off, but I am going to cut it off to show you. It's really easy. Just get a pair of wire cutters, good strong pair, stick the shank right in there and pop it off. And you kind of want to wrap your hand around it a little bit so you don't have this little piece go flying, but you can do that. And then when you're going to add a metal something to the center of a flower, metal, plastic, any kind of center that you're adding that's non-porous surface, meaning it's a slick surface, you want to actually use a glue that's going to hold. So I'm going to use my E6000, and that's going to actually grip it and hold it really well. It does take a little bit to dry, and there is a bit of an odor with it. So when you do it, you want to make sure you're using a really open space so that you have some ventilation with it. So I'm going to put a dab on the back of the flower, or on the back of the button, not the back of the flower. So we've got a little bit of glue on there, and this is going to take a little bit to dry. So we're going to place it in the center of our flower, and I'm pressing it down really well in there. But then the flower has a little bit of bling in that center. So we have that button set in there. It's really sparkly and pretty. It makes a really nice center. And once this dries, that button won't come out. It's stuck in there. So we have that headband now too. So anyway, I will have measurements and everything listed here at the end, as well as some pictures of some different headbands and things that I have made. And I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that this gives you some inspiration to make some of your own hair ties and headbands and just some fun hair accessories for this summer. Thanks for watching. Bye.